This is the Google Pixel 4a that I've been using as my daily phone for just over 8 months now, and I thought I'd do a long-term review to let you know if it's either worth picking up one right now in 2022 or if you should avoid it. Now I've taken this phone up to its paces, taken a ton of pictures, I've gamed a lot to just list a few, and I think I got a pretty good idea of how it performs based on my experience. I also have detailed reviews of this phone on my channel already. I'll link that in the cards above and in the description box as well if you wanna check them out. Kicking off with the design, the plastic shell, which is what this phone is made of, hasn't held up pretty well, and that's frustrating, keeping in mind I've only used it for just less than a year. First of all, there are spaces left between the front glass and the back panel that easily lets dust in, which is not good here, keeping in mind this phone has no IP rating of any sort, but that's more of a design flaw rather than my problem. On the top right corner you can see that there is a crack that I promise I don't know how it got there. All this might not be a problem to you if you use a case, and by the way I've been rocking this phone naked since day one, so that might have contributed to those flaws. The matte back panel is however a nice touch and it feels good in the hand, and other than hiding fingerprints, smudges might persist until you wipe it off. The display has aged well for me. I just have some minor tiny scratches that are normal, more so I've been using it without a screen protector. Talking of the display, it's a 60Hz 1080p at 5.8 inches, which is kinda small unless you prefer smaller sized phones, that you might have a hard time finding one in 2022 other than the iPhone 12 and 13 minis. It's a sharper display and I can't complain about media consumption on this phone. There is that mighty capacitive fingerprint sensor on the back of this phone that is blazingly fast every single time. You pick the phone up and it instantly recognizes your fingerprint because that's where your finger naturally rests, making it the most convenient unlock option I've used. Colors are great and natural, scrolling through the OS is easier, not smooth though compared to higher refresh rate displays, but gets the job done. And not really needing to use 100 mode as much is awesome thanks to that small form factor of this phone. On the other hand, gaming might not be the best thing to do on this smaller screen, but other than that, performance is good. Not the best, but heavy games like Call of Duty Mobile and Asphalt 9, which I play regularly, runs smoothly for the most part. You might experience some dropped frames and lags here and there with extended use, but again, for the most part, it ain't that bad. For 6 gigs of RAM, general day-to-day tasks like texting and calling, using social media apps, watching videos on Netflix, and just casually using your phone is no problem at all. I did experience UI crashes and lag sometimes, which might partly be a bug in Android 12 that actually needs to be polished, but overall the performance is good here. Talking of Android 12, it's what I've been using since day one as a beta tester, and now in its stability, I wouldn't say full stability though, it's beautiful. I'm sure by now you've heard of Material You, and in a nutshell, it lets your system colors change to what your wallpaper's main color palette looks like, and this happens across all compatible apps. More so in Google Apps, it's consistent and again it looks beautiful in those huge UI elements, and a side note, widget looks cool in Android 12, no doubt. It's stock Android with some Google exclusive features that makes the experience fun and minimal to some extent, and I personally like it. By the way, my custom wavy wallpapers 4.0 is out now, and the first 25 of you to use the link below will get 50% off. I'll also give away 10 promo codes on my Twitter at PhilipsFuture, so go follow me there so you don't miss that out. Now moving on to the cameras, I've taken a lot of great pictures with this phone. The Pixel 4a uses older camera hardware, but on the brighter side, the software processing compensates for that true-to-life pictures, contrasty that some might find pleasing, which I do. On the darker side though, it falls a little bit behind when shooting in harsh lighting conditions. I rarely shoot selfies and videos on either the front and back cameras respectively, but when I do, they aren't the best out there. Videos in bright environments look awesome in 4K 30, but might also look grainy and noisy the moment some light disappears. In a nutshell, if you give it enough light, you won't be disappointed. I'm a heavy user, which means I play a lot of games, I watch a ton of YouTube, and battery life for me hasn't been crazy bad for the most part. I charge my phone overnight thanks to adaptive charging, which is by far an underrated feature. It lets my phone charge slowly to preserve battery for the long run, and by the next morning's alarm, you will have a fully charged phone for the day. I can't say this is a 2-day phone because some days I'd toss it back to the charger at around 4 or 5 PM after heavily using the camera and the hotspot feature that drains a lot of battery. It takes about 1.5 hours to fully charge via USB Power Delivery 2.0, so I'm not mad about that. That has been my experience with the Pixel 4a for the past 8 months, and so should you consider getting one in 2022? First, getting one might be a little bit tricky because it might have been discontinued by Google and it's out of stock on the Google Store in favor of the Pixel 5a. But if you prefer smaller phones, great camera, and faster Android updates at a price point that doesn't break the bank, and by any luck find it at a discounted price, don't hesitate to go for it. I'd still recommend that you get the Pixel 4a 5G or the 5a because of that extra screen real estate for gaming and media consumption, way better battery life, and an ultra-wide camera that the 4a lacks. That's it guys, and do you prefer smaller phones? Would you grab a Pixel 4a in 2022? Let me know down in the comment sections below. On the other hand, if you found this video helpful, drop a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I might also compare this to my Pixel 6 Pro that is coming in a few days, so turn on notifications so you don't miss it when and if it goes live. Anyway, that's it. This is Philip's Future. Goodbye guys, and most of all, stay safe.